President Donald Trump gave his second State of the Union speech on Tuesday, which was delayed due to the government shutdown. The president encouraged unity and warned that the only thing that could stop the momentum of the economy is foolish wars, politics, and partisan investigations. Krista, we have talked about State of the Union speeches for countless years on this show. They come and go, Democrats, Republicans. It's not like any of them rise to the occasion of something that we remember more than a couple weeks later. But that's what happened this week. Was there anything out of President Trump's speech that you take away as memorable?
You know, I thought it was his best speech. I say this as somebody who's frequently critical of the man and his speaking abilities and tweeting abilities. I think he did a great job. I thought it was diplomatic, it was statesmanlike. I like the fact that he did make a call for unity. I liked that he called out the support for infanticide among some on the left. I thought that was genius. I liked the priorities set upon. I like the historical references to World War II. I like the guests that he pointed out. I like the fact that they sang happy birthday to somebody. I thought it was really great. As somebody who is, again, a frequent critic, I thought he did a great job. I also appreciated the alliteration in a number of passages.
Indeed. Eric, is there anything here that gives President Trump a longer bump? Because it seems in the polls, because you have, I guess, I think really a positive outcome from either critics or supporters saying, hey, he stayed on script, it didn't go off the handle, and because it was on script, it went pretty well. Can that last for a while as a positive bump, whether it be polls or just his support?
Well, the biggest determinant of whether it lasts is Donald Trump. I mean, you know, he gets in his own way. I found the speech, I partially agree with Krista, but that's a pretty low bar we're setting. That if you can read a script and stay on message, by God, you know, let's give you a Nobel Prize or something like that. I think it would have been a much better speech if it had been half as long, if he had recognized half as many guests up in the gallery. And a number of those guests were very inspiring. The young girl, you couldn't help but love the young girl, 10-year-old, who had fought cancer after raising a bunch of money for that cause. And I loved the two veterans at the end and that story, World War II veterans, Greatest Generation. I just found the speech disjointed or almost dissonant. You start with this appeal to unity, and then you immediately go to this line about we can either have, what was it, peace and legislation or war and investigation. Since when did that become a binary choice? I mean, what if I want to pick one out of column A and one out of column B? I don't know when that became quite the binary choice it was. His one opportunity to really perhaps do something in a bipartisan way, perhaps is around infrastructure. That got 15 or 20 seconds. I mean, he barely touched on that. If he was really interested in bipartisanship and maybe moving the ball forward with one issue that the parties could come to some agreement on, that should have been a major thrust. I think it'll be quickly forgotten. I think it will largely be forgotten because Donald Trump will do something today, this weekend, whatever, that makes us all forget it.
It seems to me that the whole infrastructure conversation is kind of like vegetables at a grocery. Everybody should get more. Everybody should pay more attention there, but they never get the headline. They're never on sale. No one cares the price of carrots, but you know what price the flaming hot Doritos are. So I don't know. Maybe it's the wrong analogy. It's not the first time. But Natasha, anything from the State of the Union speech that sticks out to you that should last more than the average news cycle for these, which is usually about a week?
Well, maybe that I want both flaming hot Doritos and carrots. Can we live in that world? I will say that for all the calls for unity, if you look at the statements that were coming out from the Colorado delegation, politicians up and down the levels, there's not a lot of unity right now. So I'm not sure that call for unity really went anywhere. And certainly looking Stacey Abrams' speech after his speech, it was really a tale of two countries. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I mean, I think that there's some advantages there, and that the more voices that we have included in this country saying this is the world I'm experiencing and this is what I care about is important. But I actually think her speech might have a more lasting impact, certainly in her career, which, I mean, we can use a rising star sort of cliche, but it's appropriate here for her. I think that will have a more lasting impact.
Patty, do you think this might have at least helped to expunge the negativity from the shutdown?
well, maybe a little. I think it's remarkable that we're all amazed he actually could kind of seem coherent for an hour and 20 minutes. It could be because I was doing a shot of NyQuil every time he mentioned the wall. But that moment when, it was a fun game, that moment when they sang Happy Birthday, I thought was the weirdest thing I had ever seen come out of the House of Representatives. That was a crazy one. I had talked to Tom Tancredo earlier in the day. He is currently now down on the border looking at the volunteer group that wants to build the wall for Trump, because it's clear we are not going to get anything out of Washington.